Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Church of the Sacred Synthesis Conclave. My name is Benjamin Moore, and I am going to be your person tonight. I'm also the co-executive director and co-founder here at the church, and I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude for all of you showing up and supporting this mission that we're on. It's been a number of years, and I can't say it's been easy, but it's been a beautiful ride. So thank you so much for supporting this path. So yeah, tonight we're going to talk a little about the happenings in the most, I would say maybe the most important conversation right now in psychedelics around 5-MeO DMT, and that is now Beckley Atai or Atai Beckley. They're BPL-003, 5-MeO DMT, um, high dose, transformational dose nasal application. And it seems to be that the learning from how this compound was used in ceremonial circles and for individual healing has made its way to this research side of things, which is really great because we need this. We need this very badly to be circulating, proliferating modern economy. So and here we're going to talk a little about the evolution and some approaches to their dosing, and just explore the different ways in which I've worked with it, and other people that I've worked with have been working with it as well. And so, just getting a little into the intention around, as they've shared, um, I would say, the most visible psychedelic trial that's happening right now, and that's BPL-003. And its primary design is to be utilized in a psychiatry setting. So in a doctor slash provider's office or a medical facility, treatment facility, focusing on a single dosing session. So you come in, get a big dose, go meet God, come back home, and you're going to make it home in time for dinner. So the benefits here is just, obviously, it's a short experiential window. So instead of being in a psilocybin or other long-acting tryptamines 4 to 6 hour time frame, this is something that can be done, as what they're saying. People are going home in 2 hours. So much shorter. It seems to be maybe more precise. We'll see how the studies show. But it's really meant to fit inside of a modern medical workflow, as it were. So yeah, so right now they're using two doses, an 8 milligram and a 12 milligram, and then they're offering like sub-perceptual comparison doses. So, and the study is ongoing for treatment-resistant depression, with additional exploration around alcohol use disorder, which we know is a big precursor to the first. Alcohol use disorder is a large attributor to the depression that we're experiencing as a society. So over alcohol, over medicated, exactly. And so they're reported characteristics of this approach that they're using is a rapid experiential onset. So I don't know what that means, but within a few minutes, they are feeling the experience in a short duration and relative to other psychedelics. So, like I said, people are going home in 2 hours. And then the psychedelic experience itself is the intervention. So I can see and understand how this approach works with those that are high risk, that are very volatile. This can be like stop in their tracks. And we'll get a little more into that as we move forward. But to me, that's akin to ketamine, and which is great because this is maybe a one-for-one swap. Um, so anyway, um, the model prioritizes predictability, standardization, scalability, time efficiency, um, and an easy experience for the participant. Um, so, do I agree with that approach? I mean, it's definitely it's an amazing, beautiful approach, and it's very needed. I can tell you just some anecdotes around individuals that I've worked with personally, and some are, I'll say, like hard cases. People who have lived in a high up tempo environment, gone to combat, maybe um, local law enforcement, very busy, a lot of combat in their job, and or frontline workers who have, I'll say, like layers and layers and layers of trauma. Uh, a a large dose is like a ice pick, and it just cracks the shell and allows things to move that haven't moved in a long time. Now, I can say that from my own experiences as well, working with high dose, rapid onset medicines, it requires a lot of preparation and post work integration. And this can be an ongoing process because oftentimes when we go into these massively transformational experiences, while there is a shift, there's often just a lot of information that's not understood or not able to be fully integrated. So it can create some ancillary issues that need to be constantly taken care of and maintained, just like anything. But this here is now the invitation to be focusing on one's own individual experience and how they're showing up. And what this offers is a glimpse into that perfection, where you can connect to an ultimate state of being, i.e., God, and feel like the perfection, the love, the unconditional love, and acceptance. And when that feeling happens, you realize that when we come back into our body, there's all these layers of life that have built up that are inauthentic to our true nature or to our true blueprint, as Cynthia so loves to say. And so I think it's key, like when we go back to our blueprint, uh, strip away all of what the world has piled onto us, we get to see and feel the world from no judgment, from a perfect lens. And of course, then we go back, zoom back into your body, and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm still in the life I was in. Well, this is where the coaching and integration portion is so important. Um, I think we're in a stage of this emergence where we're going to move from um, psychiatric type approaches and go into more of a coaching approach where we're helping people to create the life they desire. Because if you don't realize it, most of the suffering people are going through is because they're not living a life they truly desire. They're living a life for someone else, for other purposes, a life they thought they wanted, or a life of fear. So there's a massive shift coming, and with these big doses comes a lot of support necessary. And so it dawned upon me. I think this was 2023. I was at the MAPS conference, and there was someone floating around offering 5-MeO nasal spray to people all around the conference. And I thought to myself, this is very interesting because I'd been inspired by something I saw on Arrowwood in earlier that year, and I started working with figuring out how to develop a nasal spray with 5-MeO DMT in it, and finally figured it out. Brought it to Mass with me, and I thought it was such irony that someone else is floating around sharing it with people. I wasn't there yet in my own formulation. I was still in testing my my stuff with myself. This is a very important approach. I think that we have to remember um, that as a medicine person, we should be working with these medicines to understand them, to learn them before we're offering them to other people. This is a very important thing that just popped in my head. So I don't want to sidebar too far, but as these medicines emerge, be very curious about who's offering them to you, whether medical or whatever. If they don't understand it, the chances are they may derail you. So working with people, being guided by people who have experience, that have created a shift in their life and are living a happy and joyous life that's fulfilling and that they're happy with, those are good people to listen to. Obviously, escapists, people that are using these for, which, you know, I used to think that that was a thing, escapism, which it is at first. But what happens with escapism is, with the right tools like psychedelics, there's an innate spirit built into these medicines, and it's you. And when you get down to the core of it, something in there wants you to be accepted, wants you to succeed, wants you to get what you want. And when you get down, 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 you may be escaping, but eventually you'll hit that point where that being is, that soul is, and you just start going, oh, okay, I want to do better with my life. And I've known several people who were, I would say, quote unquote, escaping with psychedelics, and they're living amazing lives right now because how they turned their life around. They witnessed it on their own. Obviously with some great community, which let's be honest, the community is going to be one of the most important aspects of the integration process. I'm sure you can have coaches and things like that, but finding a community is very, very important to continue on the journey of expansion and optimization in one's life. And if not, all of these medicines, sacraments, plants, animals, fungi, they're catalysts for our own capabilities. It's like perform PEDs for life, but real, and they have very, very minimal, if any, side effects, except unconditional love, maybe compassion and kindness, hope. So, I sorry I got a little sidetracked, but I started feeling into that flow and wanted to go with it. So, yeah, going forward from the MAPS conference, I started working with the nasal spray that I was making, and had an experience that was, say, like, interestingly expansive. And everything seemed to be this very uniform chandelier, geometric, like, overlay. And I just felt like just the love of God, just the love of all. And I felt so connected to it. And so it reminded me that we don't need that much. We don't need to have a deep dive to fully reset and come back to feel the love or feel the transformation. And I've seen the reports that they've said with 8 or 12 milligram deep dive nasal spray doses that they're still showing antidepressant benefits at up to 8 weeks, which is great. But is there, the question is, obviously they're measuring one thing. I'm thinking about the person. So, like, is there an ongoing maintenance plan, or do we do this once every 8 weeks, like a big deep dive? And if we're considering that, I want to stress the importance of completely derailing your egoic structure. So, and we talk about, like, people who, killing the ego, dissolving the ego. Well, the ego is a collection of patterns and choices and decisions that you make every day, and how you interpret information and data that is coming in, and you record it. And so you have this experiential platform, your serotonin 2A receptor, that is feeling and sensing everything that's happening in the world around you. And then you have your serotonin 1A receptor, which is the responsible for interpreting that information and then storing it and into your default mode network. And so it's a very delicate process of information exchange. And so when you go in with 5-MeO, and you agonize the 5-HT1A receptor and basically fully saturate it, and it turns off your default mode network, what that does is completely reset many of the perspective patterns that are within your consciousness. And it's great. It's so powerful and very important, especially for those of us who were at one time or who are currently in a very heightened state of stress, of vigilance, of suicidality. People need a rapid change, intervention. Well, if it becomes an ongoing thing, what can happen, and what I've witnessed is people will start to get on their path, and then they'll think like, okay, 4 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks later, I need to do another deep dive because I'm feeling a little bit of distress, I'm feeling a little bit of this, and instead of dropping into a program, they've been given the magic key. I just put the key in, turn the lock, and boom, I get to reset my suffering. And so people are going back in, and they're getting a reset. Their depression's going away, but now once again, they have shattered their energetic path and are being born into another one. And they make it another idea, and it feels good, and that may become the game for them. And this is what the danger that we spoke about a little bit ago about like escapism, which it doesn't become escapism in a sense of like people are running away. It becomes we've given them an easy button to press, and they can just make all their problems go away. Who wouldn't want to just press a button and make all their problems go away? And so, this is something that we're learning. Of course. And with the lower dose approach that doesn't completely dysregulate and derail, it enables one to actively work with their somatic memories, where their body's storing up this energetic tension, and actively integrate and move and create structure. And so it's been an interesting experience to sort of witness how the contrast of like high dose and low dose is emerging. So, obviously there's no one size fits all for everyone. We know that high risk, high up tempo individuals, people who have a thick shell to crack, need the big dose. So if you're one of those people, you need it. And you know who you are. I know who I was. I needed it. And but also now that I've experienced that, I work more with low doses. And what I find again is I'm able to be in this expanded state where I'm connected to the all, to God, but also embodied. So it's almost like, you've seen the video, like the meme with the head, and above is the universe, and then you have the body standing there. Maybe I'll find one and add it here as the artwork. But that's really where you're able to go. And if you can channel the universe into your body, you become the magician, the architect, and you can do anything. So, it's really important to recognize that these are technologies that are helping us to create a better life for ourselves. Not just to use them, but there's fun there too. Let's be honest. We don't have to be so serious and so square. And so this is only for making myself 1% better, or 10% better every week. What does that mean? I don't think we can get better. I think you're perfect. You're perfect, like 100 out of 100. But what we can do is allow ourselves to feel into the texture of life, feel into the celebration of life. And when you can feel that feeling of awe and love and compassion and desire and exuberance, you'll want to do the things and make the choices that make your life better because you want to feel that feeling again. And you don't have to be so stiff in doing it. You can be. If you want to choose to be that way, go for it. But you can also have fun. You can also laugh. And what I've been doing is when things are not so perfect, I just look at my life like an episode of Saturday Night Live. Like, whatever. This was supposed to happen, and I just make fun of it. You know, sometimes it sucks, but guess what? That's just, I was dealt that hand. So guess what? I'm going to play it. I'm going to play with it because there's no sense of boohooing. No sense. Celebrate your everythings, your losses, your wins, your adversities. It's all perfect. It's all perfect for you. So yeah, getting a little sidetracked here again in the coaching talk, but yeah, hopefully you guys got some information tonight and we're able to sort of understand these different approaches that we're working with and how one could benefit you. And if you need support, please reach out. We have a way to contact us, info@thesacredsynthesis.com. January 25th is our next light wand ceremony where, once again, we get to come together and yeah, explore. So very excited about that. I believe next week we have new member orientation and a myriad of other things on the calendar. So please check out the calendar on the website and subscribe to it. So then you'll have it right there in your Google Calendar like I do. So I get to be reminded of the things and participate myself. So once again, thank you so much. It's been an honor and a privilege to be here. And thanks for listening. Peace, everyone.